Don,
What?
you told me a story about your possum.
Yeah. I had possum. Yes,
No,
I was.
now, where did you get this possum?
Well, I was riding my bicycle one morning. This has been about 30 years ago, and I noticed someone had run over the head of a possum. So I turned around, I came and I looked at it, and I was going to take it out of
This
the
was
road.
a flathead possum.
Sort of, yeah. But all the babies were still intact in the pouch.
So you had to look in there and see these little
Well,
babies.
I could see them wiggling, and I could tell. So I put it in my
How
basket.
big were the babies?
Oh, they weren't much bigger than the end of your little finger. Didn't have any hair on them. And but I knew this lady that was wild. She did a lot of wildlife things with birds and animals and possums and things like that. In fact, she wound up working for the state of Florida in wildlife. And I called her, and she told me to take them off of the tit, but very carefully, because when they are born, they crawl in there and they swallow that, and it swells up in their mouth.
The tit does?
Yes.
So it's actually almost down to their stomach.
Well, they can't fall out of the pouch until they develop a certain. So I got them all off successfully.
How'd you get them off?
I took a little mineral oil or olive oil. I worked it around them and just got them off very carefully.
Did you like unscrew them?
Almost.
Were they clockwise or counterclockwise?
I don't think it mattered. It was both.
Did they go when you took them off?
Kind of, really, yeah. And got them off and started feeding them bitch milk. And
was this a bitch from the neighborhood? Or?
No, you can buy it in the pet food store.
I see.
They sell it. I got the canned kind, not the.
I know a couple
kind.
of bitches, but they wouldn't give you a little drop of milk.
Well, that's time to change bitches. Then they're a dime a dozen. You better get over here with me, where the people of the United States can see us. Are we in focus?
We're in focus. Okay, so now you're feeding these possums on bitch's milk.
Bitch's milk.
Yes.
Canned.
Canned bitch's milk.
So I had a little box that I had them in, and I had a divider that went across so that when I fed them, I know who I fed. So I'd feed them till they, and one bottle would do all 7. There were 7 of them.
7?
All survived.
Possums.
7. And I kept doing that. She said you had to do it every 2 hours. So I did it very faithfully every 2 hours, and I took them everywhere I went. And of course, handling them all the time, I became mother.
A mother possum.
Yeah.
2 7
As far
babies.
as they knew, I was their mother.
Yeah.
So, and anyone else that got, now they stayed wild. I was the only person that could really handle them. Anyone else would get severely bit.
Did you try breastfeeding them yourself?
No, I wasn't lactating at the time.
No. But you could pacify.
They're liable to bite. They kind of hung on to that damn bottle, buddy. They had to pull it out.
Yeah.
They're not used to that. Being fed that way is not a natural thing for them anyway. Because they wanted to swallow that nipple. And then I'd let them crawl
I've
up my
had
arm.
those feelings myself.
You what?
I've had those feelings myself.
Have you?
Yeah.
See, we're drinking tea tonight.
Yes.
What kind of tea is this?
This is Chianti.
Okay. There's no rum in it or
No.
anything. And here's our friend the chicken here. If I could pick the chicken up, I'd show the people. There's a wild chicken running out around here.
This is a wild chicken here.
But you're not going to catch that
That was
chicken.
wary. No, we'll do it later.
Come on, chicken.
We'll bait that chicken. Okay, back to the possum.
Back to the possums. Okay.
Now, they're growing a little bit, 7 of them.
Yeah, I got to where, after a while I could feed all of them with 1 bottle and not have very much left over. Then it got to where it took 2 bottles to feed all of them, and eventually 1 bottle for each one.
7 bottles.
7 bottles. So at that time they were getting pretty good size, and I started letting them eat cat food. I had a cat too, and the cat didn't want anything to do with those damn possums.
Didn't try to adopt them?
No, would not even go in the room where I had them. Would nothing to do with them. So I never worried about the cat. Well, we got a chicken under the table roosting right here. Right under the glass table there. What do you want? Yeah, they want fed. He's got them spoiled. They're getting pretty good size. I'd say in another month they'll be ready.
They're almost broilers, aren't they?
Of course, the Indian, you know what he said about possums? He said, "Me no eat 'em possum, possum eat 'em shit." Indians believe you are what you eat.
Yes.
So you eat a lot of chicken, then you know what you are.
Okay, we're going to try to stay on the possum subject here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now they're getting to be about
Well,
this
we did,
big,
you know, about the Indian.
and you're weaning them off on
Yeah.
cat food.
Cat food, and then I would go down to the butcher shop and buy one of these bales of chicken guts, you know, livers and hearts and, you know, the insides of a chicken, and they like that real well. So, but the funny thing is that when you feed them, they'd be in a bigger box now. They graduate to a bigger box, and I put that chicken liver in there, and one would swallow down as much as he could, and there'd be a little piece sticking out of its mouth, and the other one would come up and start pulling it out, and there would be a tug of war back and forth.
Okay. Possum tuggers.
Yeah, and I took them everywhere, and no one seemed to be interested in them. Except my son looked at them one time, and he went to stick his hand in there, and they all played possum.
They play possum, don't they?
Yeah, when they're
afraid?
scared.
Yeah.
And, and if you reach in there and they don't know you, they're liable to clamp on, and they just stay. The needle teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You wish you'd never seen one before.
They don't let go.
You got one right over there. Stick your hand in there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Pet him real nice.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to bring him over so we
You
can
bring him over, but
yeah.
I wouldn't even know him as well as I do. Stick my hand in there. Yes. Now we have the Leatherman tool. We have a serrated knife, and we have the regular knife. And where's, oh, here he is. Oh, there's a possum. There's a real, yeah, I recognize the smell. A real live possum. Now you would bite because you don't know me. Even the ones that I raised after turning them loose, if I went
Can you
back,
make a noise like a possum and see if he'll...
No, they're not very sociable animals with people, especially. They're not even too sociable with one another. See, he's ready to bite you, and he has teeth. He's got a really good set of teeth. How are you? He's got his eye on them chickens. He's that's about the size they were when I let him go. He might be just a little bigger than when I let him go.
How old do you think this one is?
A couple months probably.
Okay.
Hard to say. I knew almost exactly how old mine were when I had them, but they're different. Some will mature different than others. This is a nice, healthy looking one. What are you feeding it?
Nothing. I just caught him.
Oh. Well, he'd like something to eat.
Now, when you were raising these youngsters, would they ever play?
No.
They were very serious.
Yeah. Just like he is.
Okay.
But they recognize me as the food source. And
how about affection? Any affection?
No.
No.
The females had more, would put up with you more than the male. The male would not put up with you. He wanted to get away after he ate. He didn't want. But the female, you could hold them in your lap and stick your finger in their pouch and all that kind of stuff. But the male, he don't have a pouch. He seemed to be more, especially as they got older. The males got kind of mean. It seemed that they weren't friendly.
Okay.
Only when they were being fed. That's the only time.
Okay. Now, you had these in the house. Were they loose?
Huh?
Were they loose in the house?
In my shop, I had them loose. Yeah.
Oh, in the shop.
Yeah. No, they'd tear the house up. They'd be running up. They like to get behind something where it's dark, or under something. They'd tear your furniture apart. They'd go inside your furniture.
Of course, they're nocturnal. That's right.
And then they'd do their business everywhere they wanted. And it stink. You smell him. He's got that smell. He's not happy about all this. They're just the kind of animal let you get close enough and then bite you.
Yeah.
They don't usually attack or anything unless they're like he is there. He would attack, but he'll let you get just close enough and then he'll bite you. And it'll be a real, you'll never forget it. Take the finger off. He's nice. Huh? Patty. Yeah, marsupial.
Yes. It's the only marsupial and marsupial
In North America?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the only one I know of. There may be one other. I don't know. I know over in in Australia that they have marsupial mice and dogs and
All kinds of
marsupial cats
over there.
and
Yeah.
the only place in the world I think that they found platypus.
Yeah,
An
I
egg-laying
think I
mammal.
knew a couple of gals over there who had pockets.
Yeah. You get around.
They're called Sheilas, I think. in
Yeah,
Australia.
Sheila. Sheila.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Okay,
when he
so
opens
now-
his mouth, he's getting ready to.
Did they get about this age when you let them go?
Yeah.
About this age.
And I took him to the Myakka State Park
Yeah.
and turned him loose in the picnic area.
Okay.
There was no one there, but I knew that people dropped the food around and food would be easy for them to get.
Mm-hmm.
Now the males took off and went their way. I think I had 4 females and 3 males. The 3 males took off and the females followed me. They followed me. I couldn't get rid of them. I had to lead them off and then run away from them and get back in the car. And I felt terrible about that because I did have an attachment to them.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I was attached to them,
Yeah.
but I knew they had to go back to the wilds, and I love animals, you know. As ugly as a possum looks to most people, they're a beautiful animal if you get to know them.
Now,
They're
Granny
really
Clampett
quite
used
beautiful.
to cook possum belly. Have you ever heard of that?
Well, I believe like the Indian. I remember the first time I ever saw a possum. I was on my uncle's farm up in Ohio, and there was a dead cow out in the woods. And he took a stick and beat on the dead cow, and these possums come out the rectum. The cow had been there some time.
So the possums were living up the cow's ass.
Yes, eating the inside of the cow from the inside out.
Okay.
And that's the first time I ever saw them. And they lived right in. They were in there eating. I don't know if they lived in there. I don't think so. I guess they would. Wouldn't you? Would you do that? Yeah, I think you would. He needs a little something to eat.
Well, he got some bait in there.
Huh? Well, what kind of bait was it?
Cat food?
Oh, cat food. Did you all your cat food? Yeah, look at that. That's a finger. See, he'll run. He'll bite you and then run. It's good that they're afraid of people. You watch it now, you're going to get bit. They can use those little paws like your hand. Grab a hold of things. Yeah, you get possum dew on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a number, I think. No? It's all right. It's okay.
Do you speak possum?
No, I wasn't around him that long.
Because you are a possum daddy.
Yeah.
You must be kind of amazed to find the babies in the mother's pouch.
No.
Did you specifically look to see if there were any in there?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody who sees some roadkill should go up and check, see if there's any babies in the pocket.
Yeah, it could save them. I saved all 7, I heard.
Yeah.
They stay with the mother. Well, I understand that they cling on to the mother's back and tail. And if any of them drop off, she doesn't go back to get them. They're on their own.
That's it.
And that's how she loses them.
Ah.
This one must have dropped off at the right time.
Now tell me about
See,
playing.
they go to the kill with their mother because they're not fed after they're off the tit. They crawl up on her back, her tail, and they go wherever she goes and eat whatever she eats.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now tell me about playing possum. How does that go?
usually when they're frightened and they're where they can't get away, they'll just roll over and act like they're dead. They actually faint.
Well,
And then if you get too close to them, they'll just take a hold of you and just hold.
Still playing dead?
Yeah.
Huh.
Or they may bite and run, but a lot of times they just hold on.
Hmm.
They're nothing to play with. And they can carry rabies. Their bite can be, depending on what they've been eating, can be quite an infectious bite. Because they tend to eat roadkill, and they'll even eat their own kind. Anything dead. That's what they're designed to do. They're a scavenger. That's what dogs are too. They're scavengers.
Pigs are too. You want to die in a pig pen, they'll eat you right up.
They'll eat you up. They'll eat snakes. They'll eat vegetables, roots,
anything.
Garbage.
So will these chickens.
Yeah, they'll eat a live chicken. I've seen that happen.
Oh.
I've seen the chicken get in the pig trough, and the pig just reached over and ate the chicken, and then kept eating the feed. Yeah, nothing like a little meat in the feed, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's But these little critters here are cleanup. They're the boys that go clean up the dead.
The bottom feeders.
Yeah, well, yeah. They'll eat off the top too when they get a chance. He'd eat that steak in there. He'd prefer that it be quite well aged, though, out in the sun, kind of dried up, worms in it. Get a little more protein with the worms in it.
What other animals have you raised?
Oh, when I was a kid on the farm, I really didn't raise them. I fed pigs and chickens, and kitty cats and dogs. And my aunt had a pet pig. And if you have a pet pig, they can become quite obnoxious. They'll lay right in the door.
Oh, I had this happen in Vietnam. They had a pig. It was a cute little thing when they got him.
Yeah.
But the thing would come up against your door and
About
wouldn't let you out.
Yeah.
You got to scream and holler and kick the damn door, and they reluctantly get up and move off. I remember we were fed up with this pig, and then one day we heard all this squealing and everything, and two guys were holding him on a pole, right, and we're taking him off to make bacon.
They can become quite belligerent too when they don't get what they're, especially if you spoil them and domesticate them like, you know, as a pet, which they weren't really intended to be. They're for food.
Yep. Have you heard of the Vietnamese pot-bellied pig?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. They're cute.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want one.
There's a place over near the beaches that's a refuge for them. Some woman has got these.
Well, a lot of people would get them, and then they wouldn't want them, and then they'd turn them loose, or they'd, you know,
cook them.
Cook them.
Yeah.
Hell, I didn't know they ate pigs over in Vietnam. I thought it was cats and dogs. That's a delicacy, I guess, though.
I never heard of cats. They do.
Dogs for sure.
Well, the dogs. I've had dog in Vietnam, and it's been a special breed. It's expensive, and it was at a banquet. I've also had dog in China. Again, it's very expensive.
They're sweet meat.
Yeah. And they're raised special for that.
Yeah. They don't
and
feed
they're a
them.
special breed of dogs. I think they might be chow dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, chow's nice. They get big.
Yeah. But they do eat rats in Vietnam.
That's just like a pig is a.
No, these are rodents that live in the rice paddies.
Are you sure they're not tapirs? Oh, we have a visitor here on the table.
Hello, visitor on the table.
Chicken.
You going to have a chair here on the table?
I think she wants to find out what's in the glass. Have you clipped her wings?
Yep, wings are clipped.
That's your favorite food there, kid.
Chicken. Hello, chicken. Goodbye, chicken.
There's only one thing they're interested in.
Food.
Food. Here's to all that wishes well, and all the rest
Can go to hell.
It's just iced tea. It's nothing. We're not having an alcoholic beverage.
Where did you were in Florida when you found these possums?
Sure.
Okay. Sarasota or
No,
Bradenton?
Bradenton.
Okay.
I used to take a morning bike ride, especially this time of year when it's rather pleasant in the morning. I still do occasionally.
So you took home the dead possum on your bike?
In the basket.
In the basket of your bike. And hope that nobody would see you with a dead possum in your
I didn't give
basket. Because you really don't care, do you?
I don't care.
Because they all thought you were taking this dead possum home to cook it.
My parents always was worried about what the neighbors thought. I don't give a damn what
What
the
they
neighbors think.
think. And they know
furthermore,
that.
I don't care what they do because I don't even give a damn. Live and let live is my motto. I mean, if they want to run around the neighborhood naked, fine. Just don't come in my house unless I invite you. But I ain't going to call the cops or nothing like that. Yeah. As long as they don't shoot or, you know, steal something or set fire to things, everything's just fine.
Yep.
And a little possum don't bother me. I'm sure somebody would have found fault with raising them.
You want to pick this guy up and cuddle him?
No.
No.
It would be the last possum I'd pick up and cuddle. And I'd have a lot of proof to show you that I had done it.
They open their mouth real nasty when they're threatening.
Yeah, and they can scratch you with those claws.
Yeah. I wonder if you were to make a little threatening gesture, if he would threaten back.
Yeah, I could
Just try it here for the camera. I think he just browned the table.
No,
there.
he's doing that. No.
So they don't like hissing noises. That's very interesting. They sure don't.
No. You just, you know, you're not going to ever make friends with this possum.
Not now, huh?
No.
Because I've pissed him off. He's pissed off. Wow, from all this distance, I go and make that pissed noise and he gets all upset.
That's the sound they make when they're going to attack something or they're scared.
Oh,
They hiss.
that is the war cry of the possum.
Kinda. Was he bad to you?
In Texas they have, I saw a cap.
If you let him go right now, he'd never come back here again.
I saw a cap one time I thought was really funny. It was the Texas Armadillo Breeders Association.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We
could have the Florida Opossum Breeders Association.
Well, didn't they know that they do it themselves if you just leave them alone?
Yeah.
The breeding part.
Yeah. But this was a group who were breeding armadillos because they're from Texas. It's just a spoof hat. It's like having the Florida Opossum Breeders Association.
Well, I didn't breed them because
This is the Cattle Breeders Association. It's a legitimate thing, so
Yeah.
they're making a spoof on that. Now he's waking up.
Yeah, you got him upset. He's worried.
Maybe because it's getting a little bit darker. Those heart traps really work, don't they?
Huh?
Those heart traps really work well. That's what that is.
Says when I get out of this thing, I ain't never coming near another one. Right? See, that got him upset now. He's really upset. He'll never get over that.
And he was like sleeping until I pissed at him. Boy, he doesn't like that. Just the sound.
Huh?
When I make that hissing sound, he just freaked.
Yeah.
So now our television audience knows how to freak out a possum. Just go.
If you do that and they're out in the open,
They'll go right
there'll
for
be
your
a
throat.
vacuum trail behind them. Now he'll be all right. He or she, I don't know what it is. I ain't going to stick my hand in there to find out if it's got a pouch or not.
Do you want to take him down back to Bradenton? And
No, thank you.
now is the pouch?
Yeah, there's no way of telling unless they roll over on their back and you can see it. It's hard to see on young ones.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it's a male or female. They bite very well. I think it's a male.
Their bite is unisex, huh?
Yeah. He's not very happy. He'd like to get out of there. I think if you let him out right now,
Yeah, but the chickens, he's going to go after the chickens.
he would
That's
come
the
back
problem.
later for the chickens
Yeah.
to get even for what you did to him.
So I'll take him down by the creek and let him go there.
Yeah, that's a good healthy one. He's calming down. It's okay. Nobody's going to get you. So you're not going to raise it and let it in the house with you at night or anything like that?
Well, No, I don't think so. I thought maybe you'd like to take them home.
No, I've served my dues.
Okay.
I've paid my dues with possum. I saved 7 of them. And Lord knows how many that 7 procreated.
There's
Yeah.
probably millions of
And
them.
this
How many
might be
years ago
one.
was that?
Oh, about 35 years.
Do the
ago.
math.
Oh. I don't know.
At what
how
age
often
do they become sexually mature?
I don't know. I think they have several litters a year.
Oh.
Because they survive everything. They'll be here when everybody's dying on the ground, and they'll have plenty of food.
And the cockroach.
And the cockroach. And they'll eat them, too. We won't eat the cockroach.
No, Americans won't.
Cockroach
But
eat us.
cockroaches are eaten in other countries.
Yeah. Well, every time
You can buy them in a marketplace.
Well, every
by the
time you
pound.
have a lobster, that's what you're eating.
Yep, and a crab.
Yeah. You're eating that type of extrovert.
I have heard it said spiders and crabs are related.
Huh?
Spiders and crabs.
Oh yeah,
are
they're 8
now,
legs and.
Yeah. Now, some tribe in the Amazon jungle
They eat the spiders.
eat big spiders.
Yeah.
They catch them, and they're a delicacy. And I've been told they taste like crab,
I wouldn't doubt it.
and that they're very good.
All things are related. They all came from one place, one design.
Yep.
And that's a pretty little possum, and I think he'll be very happy when he gets out and he can go through the woods. Because he's probably born and lived, his parents and everything come from around here and live under houses, and they can adapt to almost any kind of living. Except I don't think they live in the middle of New York City, because flies don't even live there. They don't have flies or mosquitoes in New York City.
Supposed to have rats though.
Oh, yeah. They live in the sewer. Maybe these.
When I
live in
moved
the
to
sewer.
Florida and saw one of these roadkill, I thought it was a rat. I said, "Damn, they got some big rats down here."
No. These are all way up into Canada. You should have possums up in Canada.
Not in my home province. We have skunks.
Well, maybe there's another species of
We
animal
have-
that keeps them thinned out.
We have foxes. Used to have bear. A relative of mine shot the last bear in a province. I'm on an island,
Oh,
so they have to be brought in or whatever. We have earwigs now. Never had earwigs. Now there's earwigs. Come in some shipment or a ship
Yeah.
or something.